Welcome to the Pharmacists Are In, a podcast made for pharmacists by pharmacists. Pull up a seat and let's get started.
Welcome back to our live stream. We are the Pharmacists Are In podcast, live streaming from Pharmacists Toronto. My name is Ajit Johal. I'm one of the hosts, and I'm joined by Dr. John Papastergiou. John, how's it going?
It's going good. We're going one after another today, but this may be our most important guest today.
I think so.
Sponsors.
No, wait, you guys had Marty on like 2 minutes ago.
Sponsors trump everyone.
RxLaw. Oh, you didn't use that word, did you?
So, yeah, it's exciting to be here. First time Pharmacists Are In going live from a conference. Seems to be pretty positive, and it's all made possible because of RxLaw.
Yeah, it's super cool. I'm happy to support you guys in this. It's fantastic.
So, were you guys listening to the podcast before? How did you hear about us? I know you follow us on LinkedIn, so...
I do. I follow you on LinkedIn. I'm a big fan of your car.
Oh, thank you.
So I appreciate your style choices.
Yeah, that's right. We drive the same car.
I'm a big fan. And I've always been a great follower of yours. So when Marty said, or Pharmacy said, that there's an opportunity to sponsor a podcast with you, I'm like, yeah, let's do it, man.
Thanks for doing that. That's awesome.
I really want to be involved in that.
So, and we have Connie back here as well.
Hi.
Hey, you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
I mean, I think you just did. What else should we say? I don't know.
Well, what do you guys do? You work together?
I'd love to learn more about RxLaw. I've been seeing it really blowing up.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's become, you were just in Vancouver.
We were in Vancouver and Edmonton for the Apotex speaker series.
Excellent.
It was really cool. To answer your question, RxLaw is a pharmacy regulatory and healthcare defense law firm that I started last year. We've grown to 4 lawyers, including me now. Connie is our professional practice advisor. We're very, very fortunate to have her, given her depth of regulatory experience that she can speak to. And we also have a law clerk and an articling student, so we've grown significantly over a year, and it sort of speaks to the need for representation for pharmacists and the need for really, really, really effective specialized lawyers in the area.
You know, I'm trying to think back if, going throughout my career, if there's ever been another law firm that's, really branded themselves or targeted pharmacists specifically. Like, I don't recall that, ever.
We don't target pharmacists.
No, but we
do other healthcare professionals too. Like, we do physiotherapists, we do psychotherapists, but pharmacy. I did pharmacy at U of T, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You're a pharmacist.
Yeah.
So
what year? Because I also graduated from U of T.
It's 1T3.
Oh, okay. I'm 1T2.
You're 1T2?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are at the same time.
There we go.
Wow.
We're practically brothers.
Practically brothers.
There you
Yeah.
I remember being in pharmacy school. I ended up in pharmacy school. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And one of the first, it was someone from the college, I remember, came and they brought a lawyer with them. And they said to us, undoubtedly, you'll be sued as a pharmacist at least 2 or 3 times in your life, if not more. And I remember at the time that was kind of eye-opening for us. We were students. It's going back quite a few years. And we were like, really? You get sued as a pharmacist? It wasn't something we were thinking of going in, but it's a reality of the profession. I mean, you take on a lot of liability working in these retail pharmacies and pharmacy in general.
For sure. And to be clear, we don't deal with that, right? Pharmacists don't get sued in nearly as much as they actually get, a complaint or disciplinary stuff from the college. It's ironic that it's really ironic, actually, that you'd say that the first time you heard about this was from the college.
Yeah.
College is the one where you normally need a lawyer.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's funny that they bring in their own lawyer and be like, hey,
this could happen to you.
Yeah. They're the ones usually requiring the need of a lawyer. But that is what we specialize in more than anything else, is college stuff for healthcare professionals and pharmacists specifically.
Yeah, and I've noticed in just practicing in Ontario the last few years that it seems like the public is much more aware of the complaint process, They're aware that, hey, if I don't like something, I could complain. When I started my career, I don't think it was as common. It seems like there was a lot of work done by the college to inform the public on, hey, this is something you could do, and the awareness is definitely there now.
There
So
was. I mean, but it's not just that. There's a case. So normally, when a pharmacist gets sued, you want as much evidence as you can possibly have, right? So there was a case in 2022, I think, at the Court of Appeal that basically said that anything on the college's public register, like on the college's website, can be admitted as evidence in a civil case, so in a lawsuit. Before that, there's specific language in the Regulated Health Professions Act. I know we're getting granular a little bit, but there's specific language there that basically said you cannot use anything in a college proceeding in a civil proceeding. But after that, the court basically said you can do anything public. So now the route of attack for most plaintiffs, most patients, is to get a finding from the college, to get something on your profile, like the check mark or whatever. And once you have the check mark or whatever, you can take that to court and basically be like, well, the regulator found them to be negligent. The regulator said they lacked the standard of care. And that works really well in terms of negotiating a settlement or as evidence in court.
Oh, okay.
There's a shift around 2022 that happened.
Okay. So what advice do you have then to kind of a new pharmacist, may not be aware, about...
Well, actually, John, I would just say for any pharmacist.
Any pharmacist.
I would say any pharmacist. Like, it's one of those things where, like, you don't need something till you need it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's always good to know what options are available to you from a legal perspective. So, like, what is the, if I'm a pharmacist, what is my RxLaw button? Like, when am I pressing that?
We have a website. It's called RxLaw.ca, and there's a button on there that says "Talk to us right now," and so you can talk to us right now if you need us. But in terms of advice, I'd say get good insurance because, that's key. Lawyers are expensive. But the thing I start most of my presentations off is having a lawyer is expensive, but not having one is more expensive. Because, the thing is that these things, if a college complaint goes badly or if a college complaint doesn't work out and it goes on your profile, you end up in the position where it can be used by bankers. It can be used by, mortgagers. It can be used by insurance companies to really affect your business. So I've seen it affect refis. I've seen it affect insurance audits where something is on the college profile. So you need to be really careful with this process. And so I guess the biggest piece of advice I'd say is, besides hire a lawyer, is just be careful, because even small little dispensing errors can become giant issues and really complex investigations.
So is the advice then, say I'm a practicing pharmacist, I get one of those intake requests from the college. Do I act then? When do I start taking things serious?
Yeah, you should act right away. So when I'm thinking about when you're practicing as a pharmacy professional, you're doing your thing every day, you're doing the best you can for your patients, and that's your focus. And you don't really think about, like, that small thing that happened, or maybe you said something just not the right way, and that upsets the patient. That can be a complaint. And it can actually snowball into so much more than what you thought it was going to be, which you thought was nothing. So when Ali is saying, know your insurance first, you don't think about your insurance and your coverage and if they're going to select the lawyer for you or not, because some insurance companies do. You want to think about that before it happens. So once it happens, you're locked in. You cannot change your insurance. So you're stuck with whatever your insurance is. They don't pay the whole amount, you're stuck with it. So you better know first. And so the first advice before something happens is figure out, do I have the right insurance that I'm happy with?
It's like liability insurance.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not just like they're not all the same, right? So you need to call. You need to figure out, what is my policy actually going to do for me if this happens, and when, maybe, to your point, John. And then you get the first letter from the college. Yeah, you call the lawyer right away.
Right away.
Yeah, even if it's just for information, you should call right away, because, Ali, you correct me if I'm wrong here, but anything you write, even in a request for information, that can be used against you in the future.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. I mean, when you get these intake forms from the college, it sort of says there is no investigation in front of you. But normally they have a complaint. Like they've received some information from a complainant, but the complaint doesn't become formalized until they go to the complainant and they're like, would you like to formally complain? Please fill out the form. Please tell us you'd like to formally complain. So there's the inkling of a complaint. Then you put in the form, because you're trying to be cooperative, you should be cooperative. put in the form, you need to frame it properly, you need to do this properly. And then after that, you get the formal complaint, and it becomes evidence in the formal complaint. So you need to be really careful from the get-go, from the very start, what you're doing.
So I guess the perception by most pharmacists is when you get that first request for intake, right? That I think the way they perceive it is, okay, well, the colleges try to decide if they should move forward with that. Is that right or wrong?
I can't speak to their internal policies. I don't know what's happening. But from our experience, my own experience in my practice, that's all I can really talk about, is that every time I've seen someone get a request for information, it leads to a formal complaint process.
Okay.
Every time I see someone get an intake, it leads to a complaint.
Okay, gotcha. So that's important because I don't think, especially newer pharmacists that just don't understand how important the insurance is.
Again, John, I'd say like all pharmacists, because even when I look at liability insurance, typically it's through the association. Typically people are looking at how much money it is. Like say it's $2 million, $3 million. There's some additional add-ons if you provide care for high net worth individuals or something like that. But that's the extent I know.
Yeah.
Like what Connie was saying, like what's the fine print? Like choosing a lawyer, like do they choose it for you? Like
And
nobody looks at that.
Well,
you're
and
not
I
even
know,
thinking about it, right?
No.
Yeah, and I know, like for some of the chains, banners, this, that, they have insurance already, so the pharmacist will just go along with what's given to them. I don't think they're looking into, is it adequate?
I mean, you got to be really careful with the chains insurance because some chains don't cover you at all for the college. Some chains, you're required under the college regulations and under law to have professional liability insurance no matter what, right?
Okay.
So that's for civil lawsuits. Necessarily, you don't need to have what's called tribunal coverage or professional liability insurance, meaning college coverage.
Okay.
So some chains don't have coverage for tribunal insurance because that's an extra rider. It costs a little bit more money.
Gotcha.
So you should be really careful if you're a part of a chain to investigate what is exactly covered.
Yeah, and hospitals too. And I know we don't always think of hospitals, but hospital pharmacists, and I know techs, there's like blanket insurance coverage at hospitals as well, and that's covering like many healthcare professionals. So they're not specialized. That's different too.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, and we have this issue right now with the hospital pharmacy kind of group or union type situation where they come to us for specific cases, but before they knew it existed, it just went to lawyers that sort of were just generalists in the area, and the outcomes were sometimes good, but they weren't always the greatest. So you need to be really careful what lawyers are being appointed and make sure, like, do they have a background in pharmacy? Do they know what they're doing? What's their win rate? Do they ever go in front of a discipline tribunal? Like, what exactly is happening?
Yeah.
So is RxLaw focused on college audits, or does it do like payer audits as well?
We do both.
Okay.
We do represent pharmacists in front of payers. Obviously, that's less of the practice because it's expensive, and most people don't want to hire a lawyer or pay out of pocket for that because that's not covered by insurance.
Well, I would argue
be.
that some of those. I'm from BC, so some of those audit recovery claims, they're extrapolated, and there is pharmacies hiring lawyers to.
We just finished a really big audit in BC. I'm sorry, I was talking about Ontario. We just finished a really big simultaneous Green Shield, ESI, TELUS audit at the same time, and it turned out well. But I mean, it was really, really, really expensive because it was a giant issue. The thing is that what you have to be really careful about when you're looking at that is that because it's not covered by insurance, is it worth doing, right? Like, are they claiming?
Totally. Yeah, you got to see what the amount is versus how much you're investing. And a lot of times, if the amount is substantial, it is worth it.
And for sure. And the other part that's worth it is that they will often, when they're finished their audit, they'll give you the score, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to see the score because the score is over a certain amount, and if it's a different scale for all three. But if it's over a certain amount, they'll report it to the college. It says it in the manual. We will report to the college if the score is over that. So that becomes a college complaint and it becomes an issue. So in terms of nipping it in the bud at the college side for insurance or insurers specifically, you have to do it early. And most people don't realize that. Most people just go along with ESI or TELUS or whatever in their process. And then, eventually it just snowballs into a giant college issue that, you can't really fix it at a certain point, right? That we try our best, but it would have been much better if it's initial. So to answer your question, yeah, we do that. So I'd say like 40 to 50% of the practice, maybe 60%, is college and insurer audits. So I call that professional practice. Connie is our professional practice advisor, so she's very, very involved in those issues. And then I'd say the other 40% is like policy consulting or management advice. So in terms of like, I want to set this up. How do I do that? What do the regulations say? Am I allowed to do that? How to innovatively practice? And that's more my kind of, I like doing that stuff more than anything.
Interesting.
Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to ask you about is we're seeing software now pop, like, because I get approached by all these vendors, software that records the interactions and then AI will like summarize it, create a soap note or whatever.
Like Applaud?
Yeah. So it's like essentially everything you're saying with the patient is being recorded, right? Is this a good or a bad thing? I don't necessarily think it's a great thing, but...
I don't know. It's weird. This came up in BC because in a very different context, because the pharmacist in BC was asking me, like, can I prevent college complaints by recording my patients all the time? And I'm like, obviously that's not allowed, right? Like, you shouldn't be recording it. In the context of a patient consult, maybe, but I worry about privacy implications more than anything else because you're giving it over to a third party. I mean, it's HIPAA compliant, like Plod, for example.
Yeah, Scribe. There's a ton of them.
Yeah,
you get to do it on your phone, actually, and just create a note.
There's a bunch that are HIPAA compliant. My advice would be, and again, I can't give legal advice, but my personal advice would be look at the one you're using, make sure it complies with all the privacy obligations you have. Get your patient's consent, of course, that you're using it, like in writing, and make sure you tell them what the risks might be. And if you get a patient consent, I mean, as long as it meets the requirements, I don't see a problem with it.
Getting
but that's not
patient
legal
consent
advice.
takes forever, man. You try to get patient consent with every consult. Half your day would be getting consents. That's the problem.
That's a real issue, but like it is a requirement, right? To get fully informed, voluntary. What is the healthcare informed? Voluntary, informed, and free of any pressure or consent. Yeah.
So we're at Pharmacy U. I mean, change the topic a little bit. How's your session? That's one of the things we're trying to get the audience at home, thinking about maybe coming to a Pharmacy U. They've been thinking about it. I think you probably were packed, no?
I can't speak to that because every time I do one of these things, I'm like tunnel vision. Like everything just goes black and I just do my thing. I answer the questions. But Connie was there, so I'll let her talk about it.
It was packed.
Packed, eh?
I actually asked someone, can we move this to the big room? Because you couldn't move at all. People were trying to get into the doors, but the doors were blocked with people. They were like, people had to go away. So
there was people like outside listening.
Yeah.
Speaks, I think, to the there's interest in this topic.
Huge.
And historically, there hasn't been speakers in this space, so I think you're filling a void.
A very great niche.
Yeah.
Very great niche. A needed niche.
I mean, it's good for the conference and it's good for people. I just hope that people listen to it and change their practice. And I mean, we're talking ourselves down because if you don't change your practice, we get into business, right? So it's a good thing for us if you don't. But I just tell people, we're here to protect people's careers. So if we do that at the front end or if we do that at the back end, it's immaterial to me. But I value presentations like this because they educate so much and they give so many people the resources or things they might not work with. Like today, we talked about the 5 high-risk habits for pharmacists, right? Things that we see in our practice, minus dispensing errors, because that's a whole other thing, that lead to college investigations and disciplinary issues.
So what were those?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Summarize.
Top 5.
Yeah, high level summary.
I have to remember these? Okay, so let's see. So one was blister pack dispensing, so frequency not matching up with the number of dispensing and not getting your patient consent forms.
Okay.
Again, consent.
That's huge. Yeah, that's
because
huge.
blister packs need to be dispensed, bi-monthly, but you can do it bi-weekly, but you need consent and the billing needs to match up with the dispensing. Second one was time-delayed safe policy compliance.
Okay.
Which is I have my own issues with the time-delayed safe policy, but you still have to comply with it. It needs to be closed once you're dispensing, and, every time you're dispensing. Then it was operating the pharmacy without a pharmacist. So believe it or not, when you're the designated manager of the pharmacy, you are responsible for all the operations. So there has to be a pharmacist in the pharmacy all the time when anyone else is in there. Even if it's closed, even if they're cleaning, even if there's a technician there must be a pharmacist inside. That's something that we see a lot of issues with.
Okay.
Your picture for that was great.
What was the picture?
The picture was someone who went shopping for their lunch
the Tiffany's
break.
case.
Yeah.
So I had,
He makes really great images.
We had these cartoons like with I'll show them to you. It's like Zootopia type images. And the case was this guy who went to I'm not going to say what gender they were, but this person that used to really like Tiffany. So at the lunch break, they would go out to the Tiffany store that was near the pharmacy. Pharmacy's in an upscale area. This is not in Ontario, just FYI. So pharmacy's in an upscale area. They would go to the Tiffany store and look at the jewelry and buy the jewelry for 45 minutes, an hour at lunch, and then come back to the store.
And just leave the store open.
Just leave the store open.
With the tech. Sounds like something you do.
No, come on. I'm very
No,
compliant.
I know. Sorry, I don't mean leave the pharmacy open. I mean go to Tiffany's at lunch.
No, never.
I think you have more expensive tastes than that, John.
I saw your watch.
We're getting off topic, guys. Please, focus. Yeah, no. So that was 4.
Sorry, 4, and then 5 was what was 5? Oh, inventory reconciliation was 4. Then meds check was meds check issues around pressure.
Yeah,
meds
for
checks,
sure.
and meds check documentation was 5. And then we had a bonus that was ethical issues like patient steering with the doctor, having conflicts of interest, not allowing prescription transfers to go through, or inducements to patients, things like that. Those are all issues.
That's come to the forefront a lot, this idea that scripts are getting so valuable to pharmacies.
It's competitive out there.
So competitive.
Very competitive.
That this transfer kind of culture is wild, trying to get a transfer of some other pharmacies. I mean, I've got a Greenfield store, a new one, and because it's new in the community, you just get scripts from everywhere. Yeah. But there are certain pharmacies, it's like pulling teeth. You cannot get a transfer, right?
Oh man, we see so many cases where the transferor pharmacy, so the pharmacy doing the transfer to the other pharmacy, is complaining about the other pharmacy inducing the patients, and whether or not there's inducements, I won't speak to, but it's a big problem. It's a big practice issue, this informed consent issue. I think one of our recommendations, Connie, you're the professional practice lead, so you can tell me, but one of the recommendations was basically you need to document patient consent for a transfer. Once you've documented that consent, you're safe. But I worry about pharmacists that just say, okay, I'm going to take a transfer, and then get the transfer, and the patient's like, well, I never thought that was happening. I don't know what's going on. Given the contention in the area, I think it's really important to be very clear what your intentions are, what the patient wants, etc.
You know what I see, Connie? It's that, okay, the patient comes in, I want to fill my script here. Yeah. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's actually down the street or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to call and transfer. Okay, no problem. So you call the pharmacy. Oh, we're busy. We'll get to it. And then they call the patient.
Yeah.
And now the patient's in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
Transferring out, pharmacy calls the patient, says, hey, why are you transferring? The patient doesn't want to be in the middle of this.
You know what fixes this whole issue? Having a specific form that basically says patient signs off on this, and that's what the patient wants.
Yeah.
That really is the issue, right? What's better, spending 5 minutes on a consent form or dragging a patient into the whole thing?
Yeah,
right?
see that, but that's good. I don't think I ever thought of that. So if the patient consents, you shoot it over to the
point.
That's right, and that's it.
And you have it ready, right? It can be a template. There's an open area for the pharmacy. You're going to be asking from in the patient information, then a signature.
Think about it, right? There's a very fine line between, do you want to fill this prescription here if you're coming out of a clinic, right? Versus, do you want to fill all your prescriptions here and transfer everything here from a normal pharmacy, right? And that leads to misinterpretation. Yeah. So I think documentation, just from an ethical consent viewpoint, is really important in that context and would reduce a lot of the contention in this area.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. I never thought of that. That's good advice.
You can save it too, right? You can scan that document and you have it forever.
And if there's a college complaint, God forbid, then you have that ready for you, right?
Yeah.
That's what we try to do,
yeah.
Valuable stuff.
Yeah, valuable. We can have you guys on every day here.
I know.
Yeah. So your office you're in Ontario, obviously in Toronto, but you practice coast to coast.
No, so we're allowed to do, Law Society says we're allowed to do a limited number of hours coast to coast.
Oh, okay.
So we're outside Ontario, so we're very picky with the cases we take.
Mm-hmm.
It's generally higher level stuff.
Okay.
But if someone needs our help, we're more than happy to recommend someone or work. We can work with a local lawyer to deal with something.
Yeah.
So we figure it out for people, but generally the cases we take carriage of, meaning we're front and center, they're more serious cases from outside of Ontario.
So I'm a pharmacist. I get a letter, I panic. Just go on the website, hit that button.
Yeah.
And
you can talk to us.
Panic
I
button.
like that.
Call me right now. Yeah.
That's good.
That's really good.
Yeah, you
Really
just
good.
press the button. We have you go on our website, you see emergency. We have a 1-844 RxLaw 01. Or you just click the button that says chat with us now, and we're like, one of us will answer it, because it's all like, I don't know. It's a new system, so I don't think, Connie, you have it on your phone.
Not
but
yet.
me and the law clerk have it on our phone.
Okay,
we just
so you guys
respond
get
right
it.
away. Yeah, or we
So
set
if
up a-
I'm going to test this, I call you like 9 p.m. on a Friday, you're answering.
someone's answering.
Like that.
Or someone will get back to you within like an hour.
Yeah, I feel a sense of comfort knowing this. I
We're
don't know
there.
why.
I mean, we're there.
it's
We're there
good.
for you.
Yeah.
Like, it literally says, I think the website literally says, we're there for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the other thing you can do is, like, there's a Calendly right on the thing. You can set up a meeting. So, like, just book a meeting and we're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like, even if you don't know, do I need a lawyer, or I'm not sure what to do, still reach out, right?
Well, Connie, you've worked with pharmacists, but I'll tell you, man, if you've never got one of those letters from the college, everyone freaks out with the first one. They freak out.
I have this, we had the slide, right? Like in the presentation that has this deer, because it's all Zootopia themed, right? Sorry. I do I'm more suited to like Joe Rogan than this podcast. I think.
This is like the Joe Rogan podcast.
Is it?
We're a little more pro-vaccine, though.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
But but I can't be on there unless we what was that one that I used for COVID?
Oh, ivermectin?
Yeah. We're pro ivermectin though, right?
The horse dewormer?
Yeah, are we pro ivermectin here?
We're pro deworming horses with
We
ivermectin.
can use it for COVID though, right? I'm screwed. I'm not messing around.
Definitely not.
I'm totally messing around. But okay, so
There's a deer.
there's a deer. So there's this deer. and the
Ivermectin
deer
with
is
the deer,
like
yes.
Okay, there's a deer that may or may not have taken ivermectin at one point, and she's a pharmacist. It's a she, I think. And she's dropping her coffee because she gets a letter from the college. And at the bottom it says, they always come on Fridays. And the crazy thing is, they do always come on Friday. Like, there's something about regulators across Canada, like Friday at 4:30 for sending stuff out.
Recalls, everything. They love
It's crazy.
Fridays.
Fridays
Yeah.
at 4:30. And it's like the pharmacist, I've seen this over and over and over again, where a pharmacist will get a letter from the college. You'll open up the letter, and they think that no one's there. And that's why, we try to provide that comfort. I will pick up. You try it. Try it tomorrow. I will pick up your phone call on Sunday at 9 p.m.
I'm going to try it.
Try it.
Dude,
We can have a chat about your watch.
So my mentor, Spiros Sorvenis, won't mind me telling this story. He was one of my mentors. And to teach me the importance, I was an intern, right? And I was there, this was back in the day when you interned for longer.
Yeah.
And near the end of my internship, the guy calls me one day, it was on the weekend, and he's like, real serious voice. He's like, John, you fucked up, right? You made a mistake. I'm like, what happened? Oh, you gave someone sertraline like 10 times a dose, right?
Oh, man.
Being super serious. She's in the hospital. This is my mentor, right? She's in the hospital. She's not doing well. I'm like freaking out. I'm with my parents somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, you should maybe go visit the family or call them. I'm like,
Don't do that, by the way.
no, yeah, no.
Really bad idea.
And then I hear him and his wife laughing in the background there, and he's like,
a cruel joke.
Cruel joke. And he goes, did you learn your lesson? You got to be careful. And I'm like, what the hell? But I remember the panic I felt at that time. And I mean, people will get, they'll hear about an error or whatnot, and it's super stressful, But it's nice to know that there's someone you could reach out to, because I don't know what I would have done in that case.
We're there, and but back to the Friday thing. It comes at Friday. You panic over the weekend, and then there's so many cases where I've seen the pharmacist writes a letter to the college on Monday, just to get it over with, just to get it out of their head, and just to the sense of catharsis around saying, I'm sorry, I did this, I fixed my practice. But in saying I'm sorry, I did this, you're admitting everything. It's really, from a legal perspective, it's a disaster, right? Versus okay, maybe you did it, maybe you didn't. We don't know, but a lot of people say, I'm sorry, this is what I did, just to be okay, fine, you know what? Just get it over with.
Yeah, and their minds are spinning, right? They're trying to think what was this situation, or what happened with that patient? And it may not even be just one email saying I did it. It could be a whole slew of emails by Monday morning, right? Because they've hauled all weekend to.
My favorite type of complaint is the worst one. It's the pharmacist made a dispensing error against me, and they don't specify what the dispensing error was, or the pharmacist is unprofessional and they don't specify what the unprofessionalism is. So all over the weekend, the pharmacist is sitting there spinning and writing down every interaction with the patient. And by doing that and putting that in, you're okay, maybe there was something unprofessional here. Maybe there was something unprofessional here. It might not even be what the patient is talking about. But at the end of the day, you end up admitting to a bunch of stuff that you probably shouldn't have admitted to, or that maybe didn't even happen because you're projecting it in your own head.
You know, I'd say pharmacists are so most of them very well intentioned. They get into the profession because they like helping people, they like talking to people. So when something like this happens, they absolutely panic, And it's, no, man, I mean, having, someone there that you could call, I think is, because I'm trying to think back to earlier in my career, I don't know who I would have called, Like, I don't know what I would have actually done early on. I was in the corporate world, so we always have internal kind of legal people. But I imagine, like, you're struggling with who do I even call, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're always there, and that's why we have the website. That's why we pay for the 1-800 number or 1844 number.
Yeah.
It's really needed. Like, I like being the place that people go to when they need help, because if they don't, they spiral out, and the outcomes are serious. Like, I mean, like, now insurance companies are using this stuff as ways to, like, put people on the list, not put people on the list who can bill. Banks and financiers are using it.
So explain that to me. The bank, like, what are the banks doing?
So we have clients that are going through refinances for their pharmacies, or someone that wants to finance a new pharmacy or something like that. The bank now looks at your college profile and your college history to see, should I give them financing for this pharmacy? Yeah, I'm serious.
Really?
We had a case like that last week.
Did you know this?
Yeah, the person had a dispensing error. They got denied financing.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, because of caution.
I'm pretty sure there was some bankers in your session listening, because when you talked about that in the session, they were like,
oh, really?
Hiding. They were like, not us.
Why do we have bankers in that session? We had college. Do you know we had college investigators in that session too?
I'm sure I would. If I was an investigator, I'd be curious to see what you said, I guess. Right?
Yeah. I guess you would.
Yeah. Dude, that's pretty crazy to me, though, that the banks would do. I'm very surprised at that.
Well, I mean, no, but think about it, right? Like, I mean,
I guess they're evaluating risk, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's
like,
what they do.
Really, like, the economy is what the economy is. If you're loaning someone $1 million, $2 million, you want to see what their competence is running that kind of business. If they have an error or a caution or something where the regulator is saying you didn't exercise enough care, that's an inherent risk to your business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like $2 million loan is like at risk.
Okay, this just highlights that these little things, right, they could come back to haunt you. So
they spiral out of control.
Yeah, don't like, take it serious. Get help. And
I think what I've learned here is there's like layers. There's prevention, right? So I'll either do the education piece, understand. Then there's a damage control piece, right? So it's like, ideally prevent it from happening. If it does, deal with it properly and get the reinforcement support you need. So,
I mean, you're right. Like, I see my job as sort of 3 or 4 leveled. So the first is education, like sessions like Pharmacy, and I got to give the OPA a shout out for sponsoring that session, because like it's very important for like the amount of people and the interest and the amount of questions that people have at the end. I mean, I think we spent 20 minutes on questions at the end of an hour session.
At least you definitely went over.
Connie, any themes come out of those questions? Was there any themes just because of people at home, or was that just all over the
lack of awareness, just lack of awareness of just basic things. Like I don't know. I'm not going to say any of them, but so there's that. So that's the first part. I say education. Second part is prevention, like doing things to when an intake comes in, we try to prevent something from happening to begin with. The third is probably crisis management. So we manage I have this giant issue at my pharmacy, or a patient died from methadone overdose or something. Like, we help clean it up. We help figure out what to do, what are the next steps, what are the proper procedure to be followed. And then fourth is defense. Like, if you need defending, we're there for you.
And I have to say, I don't know if I should, but it's important when you're picking your lawyer, and what's different about this firm that you already talked about is that many of us have a pharmacy background.
Yeah,
so when you're talking to us, not just for that emergency call, but if it goes farther and longer, the whole every conversation, we understand what you're talking about.
Well, you're going to save a lot of billable hours trying to explain the situation.
I mean, I've had people that come to us where they're like, I got a $2,000 bill from my other lawyer trying to explain what a prescription refill was on the phone.
No, it's true.
It's true. It
happens all the time.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. So we understand, right?
That's great. Well, guys, I know we got a bunch of other people on today, and we've got another session planned with you as well, right? Yeah, we're going to do another one. So
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we could dive a little bit deeper.
I really love the work you're doing, and even for that one, some of the changes in regulations in
Yeah.
BC, right, with more, I guess, health professional regulations changing, how it's regulated.
Oh, that's actually, I talked about that. I was in Vancouver.
You did, yeah.
BC's fascinating. The way that they've changed it, it's probably for the better too. But we can save that for the next
Yeah,
time.
we're well. Thanks for sponsoring. Thanks for having us here. And I think we're going live in Vancouver again. It sounds like it. Mark pretty much committed to us.
Yeah,
so
you did, yeah.
maybe we go on the road, guys.
We'll go on
That's
the
it.
road.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
be good.
Road show.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right, take care,
Thanks,
guys.
both of you.
Bye.